Welcome to the show. My name is Brock Page, and I do random sports picks for fun. Cincinnati's at Pittsburgh for a 7 o'clock start tonight. The betting in this one opened up with the Reds as the $1.66 favorites and the total at 8.5. Since then, most of the money's still pouring in on the Pirates. They're now laying 180 on the money line with the total moving upward to 9.5 runs. Currently, Cincy's getting the 1.5 on the run line, and at the moment, 78% of the action's on the Pirates to get the job done. Tonight's probables: Homer Bailey for the Reds, Jamison Tylan for the Pirates. Pittsburgh's playing .500 baseball in their 14 games where Jamison makes a start. Meanwhile, on the other side, Cincinnati's won just 2 of 7 when Homer Bailey makes the start on the bump themselves. And speaking of the Reds, they've struggled on the road this year, winning a measly 17 of 52 games. They're also winning a pitiful 36% of their games as the underdog or even money. Even worse, the Cincinnati team wins a pitiful 30% of their games as the official road underdog. But if you think the Reds don't have a shot in this one, keep in mind that they're an astounding 6-1 in their head-to-head matchups with the Pirates this year. Once again, Cincy's winning an absurd 86% of their games in head-to-head matchups with Pittsburgh. Since he's facing a Pirates team who's winning just 41% of their games after a day off, Pittsburgh also fails to put the weaker teams away, winning just 17 of 39 versus teams under 500. But if you think the Pirates are going to get upset tonight, keep in mind they're 24-17 in their games at PNC Park. They're also winning nearly 60% of their games as the official home favorite. They're also facing a hapless Reds team who's 21 games under 500. All told, however, the case for both sides can most certainly be made. As for me, however, I'm going to break down the total real quick before selecting a winner. And when it comes to the total, 3 out of Cincy's last 3 contests all went over the line. Meanwhile, on the other side, it's a completely different story as Pittsburgh's last 4 straight all went under the posted total themselves. That said, the case for both sides can certainly be made. However, both teams' games are collectively averaging just 7 total combined runs in their last 4 respectively. Pirates games have a tendency to go under, especially at home. Therefore, in this spot, I'm going against the betting public and taking the under 9.5 runs. When it comes to selecting a winner, the Reds have really struggled with Bailey this year. I can't imagine by the end of the season they'll have a dominating heads-up record against a talented yet underachieving Pirates team as well. Therefore, I do think the Pirates will win it outright for the Moneyline cash. I do, however, think the Reds keep this one close and cover the 1.5. All told, I'm predicting a final score of 4-3 Pirates at home. Next game I have for you, Detroit at the New York Yankees for a 7 o'clock start at Yankee Stadium. The betting in this one opened up with the Yankees as the $1.60 favorites, and the money line on the money line with the total at 9.5 runs. Since then, the money continues to come in on the Yanks. They're now laying 182 as the money line favorites with the total moving upward to 10.5 runs. Currently, the Tigers are getting the 1.5, and at the moment, 74% of the action's on the Yankees to get the job done. Anibal Sanchez for the Tigers, CC for the Yankees. New York's a solid 13-4 in their games where CC makes the start. Meanwhile, on the other side, not too shabby for Detroit as they're posting a record of 4-3 in their games where Sanchez makes the start in the bump themselves. Speaking of Detroit, they've done a fine job winning 2 of their last 3. They've also played good teams really tough this year, posting a record of 16-14 in head-to-head matchups with teams over 500. The good news pretty much ends there, however. This Detroit team has won a measly 16-41 as the official road underdog. They're also winning just 37% of their matchups at the current moneyline odds. They're facing a Yankees team who seems unbeatable at home at times this year. They're 32-18 in their matchups at the friendly confines of Yankee Stadium. They're also winning an impressive 64% of their games as the official home favorite. All told, however, the case for both sides can potentially be made. As for me, however, I'm going to go ahead and break down the total real quick before I select a winner. We've seen a good bit of scoring in these Detroit games as Tiger matchups are 3-1 for the overs in their last 4. Meanwhile, on the other side, a little bit different story as Yankee games are just 1-3 for the overs in their last 4 themselves. But even though it seems the case can be made for either side, keep in mind that both teams' games are collectively averaging just 9 total combined runs in their previous 4 respectively. That said, I'm going to go against the betting public one more time and take the under 10.5 runs in this one. And when it comes to selecting a winner, this Yankees team has been nearly flawless when CC takes the bump. I think the Yankees get the job done, and I think they do it by at least 2. I'm predicting a final score of 6-3 Yankees. All right, folks, I'm going to slide into my third and final game for the show, and it's the lightning round, so we got to move. Tampa Bay at Houston for an 8 o'clock start. The Rays are favored at $1.15. Totals at an even 8 runs. Currently, the Astros are getting the 1.5 at home, and at the moment 71% of the action's on the Stros. We got Archer for the Rays, Fires for the Stros. I think the books might be a little thrown off by Fires' last start in Philly. All said though, I got to take the Stros to win it at home and win it by at least 2. I also think it's going over. All told, I got the over 8 runs with Houston getting the job done on the run line and the money line. I'm predicting a high-scoring affair of 7-5 Houston. Well, folks, that is going to do it for me, but before I get out of here, I have to remind you that I am not a sports betting expert, nor do I implore you to take any of my picks. A wise man once said, good ain't free, and free ain't good. If for some reason you decide to use the free information on this program, you're utilizing it at your own discretion. Most importantly, if you're betting any of these games, do it safe, do it responsibly, and most important, have fun. For Brock Page Productions, I'm Brock Page, and have yourself a positive day.